Okay, so that's all of those. Now I'm going to show you some of the other snakes that we have. These are not recommended for beginners. This is a boa constrictor. It carries the gene for albinoism. This snake belongs to my oldest son Tristan. His name is George. And the reason I say that these are not good beginner snakes is because these things get really big. This is George, and you can see just how I reached in there and picked him up. He's as gentle as can be. He's a little head shy, so he jerks his head back if he gets too close and whatnot, but really, really pretty snake. He is a boa constrictor. This is a male. They get rather large, and they weigh quite a bit. What happens is people get these, they think that they're really cool when they're this size, but when they get bigger, they might strike at somebody, they might hiss, and that freaks people out. Well, honestly, in all the years that I've worked with snakes, even the giant snakes, when they hiss, it's not really a sign of aggression. It's actually them kind of seeing if they can bluff you. They just like to be left alone. Snakes, like I've said in the past, they're very secretive. They're loners. Given the opportunity, if he has something to hide under, when I put him in his enclosure here, he's going to try to hide. If they hiss, it doesn't stop me or my boys from picking them up. It could be a sigh, like we sigh, like, oh brother, I'm getting picked up again. Otherwise, it's their way of calling your bluff. You know, if I hiss, maybe he won't pick me up. So, anyway, this is one of our boas. This male, when bred to another albino het, they carry the gene for albinoism. They will produce albinos and normal-looking snakes as well. So we'll put George back. There you go, buddy. Hit the button and I'll start talking. Okay. The next one. This one here. She's a sweetheart. Her name is Dorothy. She too is a boa. Hey, girl. Dorothy's just sitting back here. We got her from Brian and Lori Barczyk at BHB. When we got her at first, she hissed and she struck. She struck 2 or 3 times and that's about it. This snake is not head shy. I could put my hand right up under her head and everything. She is as sweet as can be. And she too, she has some really, really pretty colors. She carries the gene for albinoism. And my son's intention is to breed the 2 of these snakes. This snake, the George that I showed you, he came from Jeremy Stone at Stone Reptiles. Now, Jeremy has the Princess Diamond boa. She's solid white. I believe she has blue eyes, which is also known as a blue-eyed leucistic, or they might be white. I don't recall. Anyway, she is, or they could be red. Like I said, I don't recall. But Jeremy Stone at Stone Reptiles, we got George from. This one came from BHB. I'm very happy with all of these snakes. They're gorgeous. So we'll put Dorothy back. She's got her big container here. And what's nice about these containers is the snakes really can't get out of them. They're a chore to get open. So I know that they're not easy. Okay. The next snake I'm going to show you is a wild-caught gopher snake. I got this snake. I was taking my wife lunch one day. She works at a wholesale nursery, 60-some-odd acres. The driveway is super, super long. And as I was driving down the driveway, this guy was sitting right next to the road. Keep taping. Let me get my... This snake is wild. It does bite. We do work with it. What we usually do is we use gloves. Again, there's no glory in getting bit. Nobody wants to get... I don't like getting bit. It's not good for the animals. So I'm going to put it down here on the ground. This is a gopher snake that I caught. And the reason I brought him home is because where he was at, he would have been killed. He would have been ran over, or the workers out at the nursery would have found him and they would have killed him. So sometimes I relocate them But this guy was just so beautiful that I decided, you know what, I'm going to keep him, and I gave him to my youngest son, Matt. I work with him, but he's very pretty. He's not hissing anymore when we pick him up. I usually pick him up at first with the gloves, and then once I kind of read what he's doing, what I'll do is I will slip one of the gloves off, like I will right now, and I will touch him. Now you can see he doesn't like to be touched by my warm hands. I don't know why. But again, this is a really, really pretty gopher snake. I don't suggest you go out and catch wild snakes, especially if you want one for your first pet, because there's work involved with them. They do spray. These guys, when they're wild, they like to coil up, and they're very confused with a rattlesnake because they coil up and they vibrate their tail, which he's trying to do right now against my arm. And I'm going to show you something. Keep the camera rolling. Okay, so I was saying that these snakes get confused with rattlesnakes. Well, you can see the size of his head. It's not shaped like a diamond. It's actually kind of oblong. This is the snake of this is the head of a rattlesnake. It's shaped like a diamond. Look at the size difference. They're totally different. They're huge. Okay? I don't know how people... This was something that was given to me. This is exploitation at its worst. I've kept this because I use it in lectures and show the terrible things that happen to snakes. But this is a rattlesnake head, completely different from this animal here. Okay, so he's actually being really cool. I'll take the other glove off. And this is a wild-caught snake. I haven't had him for too long. We've worked with him quite a bit. He does really well when we work with him. He's a voracious eater. He loves to eat. And he goes into his little log, his hide, and he's good to go. So that is a wild-caught gopher snake. I had gopher snakes growing up. In fact, my very first snake ever when I was a 10-year-old boy was a gopher snake. Okay, so to make a long story short, ball python, ball python, ball python, ball python. All of these are breeding pairs. They all look normal, but they all carry the gene for albinoism. Except one. One carries the gene for piebald, which is the white. And I believe it's this one here. It's opaque. I don't really want to bother him. We call him Jag because his color pattern looks like a jaguar. Like I said, he is opaque. So we can see what he's going to do. This is him. He's being pretty cool right now. He's very dark. He's going to shed in a couple days. His eyes are just a little bit cloudy. But he's a Jag. And I'm going to show you something what's really cool about this snake. He has a pattern right here, right where my finger is. Can you see it? It looks like, it reminds me of like Mike Wazowski from the movies Monsters, Inc. It's a face. It looks like it's smiling. But this guy will produce, when I breed it to my regular piebald, they will produce more piebalds. So I'll put Jag back because he's going to be shed. Very, very, very nice snake. But all of these, the other four that I showed you, they're all hets. They carry the gene for albinoism. This is my pride and joy. We had her on our very first video, and I know you guys could not see her very well. These containers actually have latches on them, and they're hefty containers, so they're really nice. I don't have to worry about the snakes getting out. This is another one that has latches in the front. So this snake here is, like I said, I love this snake. It's my pride and joy. Notice how I just reach in there. This is my piebald. You can see how beautiful she is. These snakes are absolutely gorgeous animals. Absolutely beautiful. Again, real gentle, doesn't bite. I think they're kind of lazy. That's why they don't really strike or anything. She too is eating, we feed her mice. This is my big adult male ball python. His name is Goliath. We had him out in our very first video. I think you can see him, so there's really no point in taking him out. He is full grown. He's a full grown adult. They do not get very big. They are pythons. I will take him out just to show you how gentle he is. I just reach in here and get him. Goliath is a full grown adult male ball python. He is a python. And he is so gentle. And he is full grown. Females get a little bit bigger than this. They don't get any bigger than 5 feet. If anybody has a 5-foot specimen, they've got a really nice snake because they don't normally get that big. He does eat rats, and he's a bachelor. He's never mated with anybody. I kind of feel bad for him for that, but he's a handsome guy. Love him. He's a good snake. Be good. All right. Here's my big female, one of my female antheristics. We did try to breed her this year, but I believe we were unsuccessful. She's starting to kind of be finicky about her eating. We're going to try some different things. We're going to try feeding her at night. But she is so gorgeous, and she is just so mellow. This one also came from Treacher's Creatures in Davis, California. I got her when she was just a little bit smaller than this. About 2 years ago. I have newspaper in her enclosure. It makes it easier to clean up, keep them clean in these vision cages. These are really nice enclosures. So you can see her, they're aggressive. I'm not going to take this one out. This is a wild-caught king snake. We are working with it. We got it in October, in the middle of fall. A neighbor who works for the water district, they were doing some work out of these ponds at his work. They were using excavators, and they disturbed a bunch of king snakes. This one they caught, and there it is. It sprays. It hasn't bitten, but you can see it's vibrating its tail right now. It's nervous still, but we do hold her. I did give this snake to my youngest son Matt, so I am working with it so that he can actually hold it without any issues. But that is a California king snake. Really good snake, very pretty. And we'll put you back up here. Alright. We have 2 left out of the 26. Boy, am I hot. Okay. Don't hiss. I'm picking you up. This is my blood python. And you can see she's a big girl. These things get up to in the range of about 40 pounds. They're not a very large python lengthwise, but body-wise they are giants. And you can see just how big she is. She is very, very sweet. I let a lot of people hold her. She's just one solid muscle. But I reached right in there and picked her up. You can see how she's got her head cocked. They don't like their heads messed with, so they are very head shy. And I've got this giant, this is actually a little pond that I've had for a long time that I use for a hide for her. And it just goes in there, and when I put her back in there, she's going to go right into it. But she's very, very pretty. She's very sweet. I fell in love with this snake. We saw her 2010 at the Sacramento Reptile Show, and then I got in touch with Ron from Ron's Reptiles in Chico, found out that he still had her. And I drove up there and I got her. I mean, it's a gorgeous animal. But these definitely are not for beginners. These snakes do get heavily bodied. And they can be snippy, and when they do bite, they pack a punch. So I'm going to put her back. Okay? I can get my hand back. Alright, girl. I've already told you I don't like getting bit. And with this girl, she don't like hands just coming in there and grabbing her. The best thing to do with her is I use my gloves. Sometimes I wear a sweatshirt. That's my collection, or I should say that's our collection. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll do another one here soon. Thanks for watching Gentle Giant Reptiles. I'm Dave Ortiz.